Welcome to this Skoda Superb Sportline. This is a special video for me because the channel hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. So the Superb now is roughly 3.5 years old. It came out in 2015. It hasn't seen many refreshes, really. The only thing that's visually different than the one that came out in 2015 is the Sportline package. And you can spot small key differences between the regular one and the Sportline. If you get the estate version, there really isn't much to distinguish. You get a sportier rear bumper, a sportier front bumper, different wheels. So these are the 18-inch wheels, but 19s really are the way to go. They just make the car so much sportier, and although they are about €1,000, they are so worth it. Another key feature of the Sportline is this rear spoiler. Whichever color you get, this will be black. The Sportline also gets the very bright and very yellow dragon skin paintwork. It's different, let's just put it like that. I think it's pretty damn nice. So at the front you still have these bike xenon headlights with LED daytime running lights. Nothing special there. The paintwork on this one, it's silver metallic, so nothing really exciting as well. But this is sort of a sleeper car. Man, that's dirty. Just look at that. That's so dirty. Oh yeah, and the backup camera is there. So if you have shitty weather like this, or in the winter, this thing will get shitty. Anyway, let's turn our attention to the interior. The boot is ginormous. You can fit a baby elephant in here, and if you get the estate version, it's even bigger. I really couldn't imagine you'd want any more space than this. Just a small little feature, you get this extra light, which duplicates as a LED flashlight. It's not very bright, but in the evening it really helps. Just small details like this. That's what makes Skoda special. Now sitting at the back, as you'd expect, the legroom is perfect. I love the black headlining, and if you get the Sportline or the Elegance, you'll get half leather, half Alcantara. The materials feel great, not at all a €30,000 car. On the inside, it feels more expensive. I'll just say it out. You also get a nice handrest with some cup holders. A ski hatch is also here. So this is the key to the Skoda Superb. It hasn't changed one bit. You have keyless entry as standard on this car, I think. Yep. But the sensors are only on the front door. What the hell? This is a big car. You really need to have sensors all around to make it useful. Sitting inside, you don't have to put the key anywhere. Just push the start button that's located here. So, let's take it for a drive. First things first, this is the older engine version, the 1.4 liter 110 kilowatt version, and it's not one of my favorite engines. You know, regular driving in the city, I can't fault the engine. It's a bit underpowered for my liking. It's not bad, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in under 10 seconds, so it's decent for a family car. You can't really ask for more for this price range, of course. But if it were my money, I'd wait for the newer 2-liter petrol, which has 140 kilowatts, or if you have the money, I'd probably go with the most expensive version, the 2-liter with 200 kilowatts. This is also a new engine, and it replaces the 206 kilowatt version that the previous, well, not the previous, that just the old engine. Stupid. Anyway, there isn't much difference between the engines. The 1.4 turned into the 1.5, and the 2-liter really replaced the 1.8, which probably is the most reasonable buy across the range. You can get a manual, and automatic DSG is a second option, and that's probably the one I'd get, whichever engine you choose. There are diesels available, of course, and they are a favorite among taxi cabbers, but for me it's petrol all the way. The fuel consumption is no longer an issue. These new petrol engines just zip petrol. They don't drink like older petrols, and really the difference is like 1 or 2 liters per 100 kilometers, and you get a nicer tone. You have a quieter drive, no diesel rattle whatsoever. So yeah, petrol would be the way to go for me. That would be my choice. Whichever engine you choose, it's up to you. And oh, by the way, the petrols are also cheaper to buy, cheaper to insure, most likely as well. As I said, all of the versions have a DSG gearbox. The shifts are very quick, very decent, and if you put it in automatic mode, you just barely notice them at all. And one thing I have to point out, the stop-start system, they have perfected it. It's now usable. It's usable around the city. It isn't jerky like the older versions. It shuts down like when you're coasting, not even when you are at the full stop, but when you are coasting to a light or whatever stop you might have, it shuts the engine down before that, and it really works. So what about price, you might ask? Well, this is the cheapest version you can buy. The DSG is an option, and with no extras, this car in Sportline trim is around 26,000-27,000 euros. A very decent price if you ask me. Now, if you get extras, you will pay, and you will pay quite a lot. But don't think of that currently, because you will get a discount, most likely a very big one, because the newer Superb is just around the corner. It should arrive sometime next year, maybe third quarter, something like that. But yeah, the newer version or the facelift of this car is on the way, so the prices can climb quite a bit. If you get the Sportline or the Elegance, which are basically the two options to choose from. There is also the Active or the Ambition versions, but they just don't have all the kit you really want. For example, in the Active version you don't get even xenon headlights. So the Superb might start at 20,000 euros, but the one you want is around 30 grand, and that's just the reality of it. Now, more about options. This car isn't very well spec'd, I have to be honest. This is the Sportline, which is a 3,500 euro option on top of the Ambition, and then you have to add like front parking sensors, rear view camera if you want, and I really strongly suggest you do get driving aids, adaptive cruise control, blind spot detection, front assist, etc. They are so good these days, and if you ever plan to sell the car on, they just help so much in the resale value. Plus, it's safer to drive. you can't really put a price on safety, can you? And it makes driving so much easier on the highway, in the city. It's just a no-brainer for me, and they don't cost a fortune. You can get all of the things I just mentioned for about €1,000. Other stuff you might want, maybe the Canton stereo system, although I am really surprised how good the standard version is on this car. Really, it is very good. The screen system is new for the 2018 model year, I think. Maybe some 2017s got it as well, but as you can see, no more buttons, just a volume knob. Thank you, Skoda, thank you very much. And you get touchscreen menu buttons. Fine by me. And the touchscreen itself, this is a standard screen, an 8-inch touchscreen color display. It's decently fast, it's usable, it's nippy. I have no beef with this thing. If you want and really have too much money in your pocket, you can opt for the 9.2-inch bigger navigation system, but let's be honest, most of us use our phones these days, and yeah, you just save some money. Navigation systems aren't worth it these days. The rest, well, very usable, understandable climate control buttons down here, heated seats, they are as standard, thank you again. If you get the Lorin and Clement version, you can get ventilated seats as well. The seats themselves, well, these are perforated Alcantara seats, and they are very comfy. They're very comfy, also electrical as standard, and yeah, they're sporty seats, but they will fit, let's say, a more big-boned person. Yep. Anyway, decent seats, very good, very fine. Interior materials, well, of course, if I really try to find some plastics, you can hear that. You can find some, yes, but in most cars these days that aren't worth 100 grand, and even in some cars like BMW and Audi, you can find plastic details, so it's really a no biggie. And all in all, the interior fit and finish is top notch, and really, you might think that this is cheaper than a Volkswagen Passat, and therefore it must be worse. It isn't. It's just as good, if not even better. Well, I can't say it's better because it really can't be, but it's just as good. And even the door cards, the pockets, they are lined in felt, so nothing rattles, nothing scratches. Soft touch materials, handrest is very nice, soft, fitted with leather. I really can't complain. And also if you get the Sportline, and it's an option for other Superb lines as well, you get ambient interior lighting. Awesome. And now I'm gonna do a quick acceleration to show you. Let's put it in sport mode, which changes something, but there isn't any noise pumped through the cabin. Just the gearbox in sport. Turn off the stop-start system. Okay, so mode in sport. In sport, let's try a launch. Okay, it will not launch. Just floor it then. The 1.4 liter engine sounds a bit rough. And I'm not trying to be overly critical here, but it just does. It doesn't sound and feel like a big engine. It sounds like a small engine in a big car, which is exactly what it really is. And that's why I think you should really invest your money in a 2-liter petrol. Let's see what I'm averaging with this car. So I think this is my 8.2 since I started the car, and I've driven it roughly 40-50 kilometers, something like that. And I've floored it. I've used it in the city. I've used it on the not the highway, but let's say B road. I've done a acceleration with it, so 8.2 isn't really that bad. If you drive really economically, you can get much lower than that. The gearbox, as I said again, it's DSG double clutch gearbox. There have been issues with these gearboxes out of warranty, clutch repairs, etc. I'd probably do a very thorough test if I bought a Superb out of warranty, but generally these gearboxes are really meant to last. They have some issues, some weak points, but it's nothing too bad really. And as a gearbox, it is still one of the best in the market. In the city it can be a bit jerky, but you really have to learn how to drive the DSG gearbox. It's a bit different than a regular automatic. You have to learn its character, just to say. And it's not something that you have to really, read and stuff. You just have to feel how the car and gearbox feels most happy. Ooh, one more thing. Skoda now introduced a digital dashboard for the Superb, the Kodiaq, etc. and also the Karoq, I think. It's a €500 option, and it's one that I most probably get. I mentioned it before, I don't like the digital dashboards in some cars. I don't like the Volvo system, and I'm really not a fan of the BMW system, but the whole Volkswagen group's digital dash layout, Seat, Skoda, Volkswagen, Audi, even Lamborghini and Bentley they're just market leaders. It's the best out there, and it really doesn't matter which one you pick, because they basically use all the same systems, just with slight tweaks in design. But in reality, the systems are perfect, and that's probably something I get as well. What else? There's really nothing to complain about the Superb. It is a bit old, and the newer facelift version will probably get LED headlights, and if that's something what you'd like, maybe wait for it. But be aware, the prices will be higher if the facelift comes along, so I'm not sure, but if you'll get a discount of €5,000 with this car, I wouldn't really be surprised. But the newer version, the waiting list, the lines, the time when you get your car, it will be much longer. Currently they have so many in stock. Most likely you'll find a car that suits all of your needs, wherever you are really. We are based in Estonia, and there is, I think, roughly 100 cars in any given time point. If you don't find a car there, well, maybe you're just too picky. Maybe, just maybe. So would I wait for the facelift? I really think I wouldn't, because if you get the digital dashboard, the newer engines, the 2-liter petrol for example, I really think you shouldn't wait. You'll get a really good discount on the old, currently new version. So why wait? Get one now if you want one, and it's still a market leader. This was my short review of the Skoda Superb, the 1.4 liter Skoda Superb. And what do I think about it? I like it. I like it a lot. If I was in the market for a family saloon, give it a try, give it a go. It's a very decent contender. There are of course many options around there, and yeah, it might not even be the newest or the coolest, but it's still worth a look. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, guys. There will be new videos soon, and yeah, bye bye.